entitled Meet the Stars. And this is a guide to promoting your career, a friendship, date, or maybe even marriage with your favorite movie star, athlete, politician, or millionaire. Missy, welcome to Carolina today.
Hi, nice to be here.
You are a young lady from Atlanta, Georgia. You're now living in California, I understand. How did you get started in the business of meeting celebrities?
Well, when I was about 17, I wanted to be more popular in high school, and I thought a good way to do that would be to take Burt Reynolds to my junior-senior prom. So I proceeded to find out his manager's number, and I called the office in Los Angeles, and they told me that the manager was staying in New York at the Waldorf Astoria. And I assumed that Mr. Reynolds would be there too, so I telephoned and I asked to ring Mr. Reynolds' room, and they did. And I had to keep calling because he wasn't there, and I finally got him on the phone, and I invited him to the prom, but he was unable to make it. So I was excited, though, because I still got to talk to him, and it was kind of neat. And I still needed a date for my prom. So at that time, I had heard in Atlanta that a movie was being made. And I thought, maybe I'll take one of the actors from the movie. So what I did is I had heard there was an audition, and I had totally crashed the audition. I got all dressed up. I skipped school that day. I went into the audition. There were all these men sitting around in army uniforms. I looked very out of place. There was a receptionist there at a desk. And I went over and said, hello, my name's Missy Laws, and my agent told me to be here. Naturally, I had no agent. I'd never done any acting in my life.
Takes gall to do this.
She said, well, gosh, that's really unusual because the women auditioned this morning. And she said, do you think maybe you were already cast? And I said, probably the party girl, and you're late, and you better get out there and see wardrobe and makeup. And I went out to the set, and they made me up and put me in this long dress. I ended up with a part in the movie. I got paid, and there's a guy in the movie that played my boyfriend. He was really handsome and actor. I took him to my prom, and that's kind of how it got started.
That's a great story.
It sounds as if it's not as difficult as one might think.
It's really easy. People don't realize it's extremely easy. I mean, celebrities are just like anyone else, and it's easy to get to know them. The main difficulty is getting past security. But that's not even that hard either. People think so, but it really isn't.
Well, Missy, what's happened since?
What's happened since?
Yes.
Well, I did this for about 10 years, and I've dated all sorts of people, Andy Gibb and John Schneider and Mac Davis and Tony Bennett, and a list of people that are mentioned in the book, and I've gotten jobs out of it, which is exciting. Julio Iglesias offered me a job working as his publicist simply because I was in the right place at the right time. I had gotten backstage, and I met him back there. I've gotten acting jobs. For a publisher for my book, what I did is I crashed publishing offices. I got into Simon Schuster. I got up to the executive offices. You know, I did that in order to get a publisher. So you can use these techniques even for just getting a promotion in your job or getting, to know someone like Lee Iacocca and becoming an executive with his company. It's the same kind of techniques rather than just sending out your resume like anyone else. You're doing creative, unusual things to get to the right people.
We have some examples of the people that you have met, and you've gate crashed, we should say, some very exclusive parties. How do you arrange that?
Well, it really, there's so many different ways to get into an event. I mean, you can call ahead and hype yourself and say, hello, I am Missy Laws' secretary, and she's an actress from Paris. I don't know if you've heard of her. She will be in town doing some commercials, and she'd like an invitation to your party. If you can make yourself sound important, they're going to want you to come. There are a lot of other ways to get into an event. If you dye your hair pink and green and you wear some outrageous outfit and you show up at the door and say, oh, I'm with entertainment or something, and you act like you know what you're doing, which is always important, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, my God, this person is dressed so ostentatious, they could not possibly be crashing. So you'll get in that way. I've worn black and looked like part of the orchestra, and carried like a violin case with me, So there are all sorts of ways to get in.
And the thing is that most of these people are just ordinary people who have a celebrity-type job.
Exactly, exactly.
Missy, most of us would be only in the position of running
Excuse me, there's Tom Selleck. What was he like? Is he as nice as he appears to be?
I thought he was, yeah. That was at the Emmys one year, and that was really easy to get into. There's Julio, yeah.
Can you give us some do's and don'ts if you happen to run into your favorite celebrity or star, how to approach them?
Well, one thing I advise is you do all your research, of course, and you learn the names of anybody with them, and you find out their hobbies and their interests, so you have something in common. When you do approach them, you should say something unique, make a unique compliment. Don't go up and say, oh, I love your show so much, like everybody says, but say something unusual, something that will make them remember you. It's always good to learn a joke. That's a very good way to start getting to know someone. It makes them feel comfortable and at ease. There's a multitude of ways.
You have tons of concrete tips on how to meet the stars. It's all in the book by Missy Laws. Missy, you will be at B. Dalton, I believe, today. What time and where?
From 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the Columbia Mall.
Okay, that'll be your opportunity to meet Missy Laws, who can tell you how to meet the stars. Missy, thank you very much for being with us.
The laws of meeting stars.